We won't go off until they get the white around their mouth. That makes sense?
This is The Long Game, where we celebrate the challenge, we praise the perseverance, and we highlight the how, where time is respected and the journey is the thing. There is no such thing as an overnight success. If it's worth working for, it's worth waiting for.
So you had gone to high school.
Mm-hmm.
You had become this amazing athlete, basketball player. Everybody was recruiting you. You go to K-State, which I love. Manhattan, Kansas, by the way. It's one of my favorite places.
A Little Apple.
I've ever, yep, it's a Little Apple, you know, being a New York girl myself. And the warmth of people and how they treat you when you're there, like family.
Yeah. First time I went to Manhattan, Kansas, all you smell was cow shit. It was that small.
Really?
Yeah. It was so bad.
But they loved you there.
Yeah.
They loved you.
Yeah, I didn't know that place existed until I got there. But like,
what drew you to it?
Delonte Hill, Frank Martin. So Delonte Hill was my he was assistant coach on my AAU team. And when I first stopped playing, I never played. So man, I developed a really good relationship. I just always told him, where you go, I'll go. And he just ended up at Kansas State, and you know, it was a little rough getting him there, I guess. But
what was Frank like with you?
Frank was awesome. Frank's like that dad you don't know you need. You know, Frank was just, yeah, man. Frank lay his neck on the line for you. You know, so, and that's like, not just basketball, that's just across the board, just life. So, he expects the same on the basketball court, you know? And when you're 19, it just looks like an old man yelling.
Right.
But the older you grow, the more you become that old man yelling, you know, and the more you value every old man that yelled at you. And Frank, I'm just so thankful he yelled at me.
You know, in the time that I've known you, and by the way, TJ was here before, he had a picture of you and him from the All-Star weekend in Dallas. I think it was 2011.
Nice.
He was like 12.
Really?
Oh yeah, he just showed it to everybody.
That's
here.
fire. I love TJ, man.
And wait, he shows it to you tomorrow. I said, make sure you show this to
I love TJ, man.
So you could see when he was showing the picture how much he admires you then and now. And what I see, because I've been coaching men, you know, from the G League to the NBA to now here, everybody expects you to be this big and tough. But to me, you're just little boys who, we talked about it, you need love, you need kindness, you need affirmation, you need that touch, you need to know you're protected. And I think sometimes people don't do that for you. And so you're protecting yourself.
Yeah, 100%. But you have to. You have to. It's no other way. The son only knows survival. And the second you don't see it is the second you don't. Right? So it's like, it can hurt, and especially as a man, it can hurt, but you can't show it. Because it's somebody that need more help than you. Always. You know, and that's just the sad reality of being a man today. Is no matter how bad you hurt, somebody needs help more.
Right.
And we've just been taught to help.
With the 7th pick in the 2010 NBA draft, the Detroit Pistons select Greg Monroe from Georgetown University.
Impact, speaking of which, you knew a lot of strategy right here. No, it is. Beautiful connection.
The glass. Drop step, Monroe to the basket.
To his left, good pass inside Monroe. He's Going right to that pick and roll. Slips out of it. Nice. Over to TJ Klein.
One of the coolest things, Greg Monroe, is when I went back and just revisited your career. And I kind of felt a little jealous that you had played for Coach Thompson, the legendary Coach Thompson at Georgetown. And think about this. Ewing, Alonzo Mourning, Dikembe, Greg Monroe. What was that like for you to step into a lot of those shoes?
Well, I played for JT3, so I played for the Sun. Big John was there a whole lot, mostly every day though. So he definitely had a big impact on me while I was at Georgetown. But just walking into that lineage of great players, especially bigs, Hall of Famers, it was something that, for me, it motivated me. To have a kind of a blueprint and a layout for people that played my position at that high of a level. It was actually something that drew me to the program more than it scared me. And so that was, those guys, playing there and leaving that legacy. It was definitely something that, I tried my best to try to add on to.
So you're talking about trying to live up to the legacy of so many greats that played at Georgetown, but your story started June 4th?
Yeah.
In New Orleans?
Yeah.
And you end up being a top recruit. You end up being Mr. Louisiana basketball 2 times. You end up going to the McDonald's All-American game, and you got the Wooten Award for the National Player of the Year, 2010.
Yeah, well, at Georgetown, obviously, when you play in that offense that we played in, person-style offense, so my coach didn't like to call it that, but he called it the Georgetown offense. But it was a person-style offense. He played there, he played in it. And so you have to make reads. Every step of the offense is a read. And so your passing only develops more in that offense. And then in the NBA, I was able to utilize it too as well.
Well, that just changed really the game for bigs because in 2010, the beginning of your 10-year career in the NBA, you're the 7th pick of the Pistons.
Yeah.
Coach Daly, who'd you play for?
My rookie year, I played for John Houston. Then Lawrence Frank came.
Oh, you had a bunch of them.
Yeah, Mo Cheeks, and then Stan Van Gundy.
So you go, wow, that's a lot of different systems. How did you adapt to all those different systems?
I don't want to say it was easy, but it's, at that point it's basketball. Like I said, the offense that we ran in college kind of prepares you for everything. So it wasn't hard. Just learning the terminology. I mean, even though it's different systems per se, a lot of plays were the same. So it's just learning the terminology more than actual plays.
So you go through that. You average 13 points, 8 rebounds, couple assists a game, and did you think like when you were done at the NBA, you would be done with that? Did you ever see yourself going to the G League? Did you ever think of yourself coming to the Big Three at that point?
When?
At any point, did you see the end?
Nah, you kind of focus on what's right in front of where I was. I was just kind of focused on what's right in front of me. I knew I always wanted to be a coach when I was done. I knew that was something I was always interested in post-career. But I didn't know I would ever play in the G League. One of the best experiences that I could have had as a basketball player, especially in that moment where I was. And then the Big Three wasn't even around until 9 years ago. So when I was playing, you weren't thinking about that either.
It's interesting because you're talking about the G League, and so many times people think it's like a demotion, or it's not, because if I don't coach in the G League, I don't get to coach in the NBA. If you don't play in the G League, maybe that's the first part, not only of your coaching and mentoring and working with people. And when things come full circle, and we just talked before the cameras rolled, that in 2021, 22, you were playing with the Go-Go. TJ Klein was playing with the Go-Go. I came to some games before we knew each other, and I saw you take him on the side and mentor him and help him. And that's when I'm like, this guy is different.
Yeah. So, like I said, that was a good moment for me. I think at that point I understood, what my role would be, whether I was there or anywhere else. And, obviously just having at that point 9 years of experience in the NBA, I just tried to share as much knowledge with them guys as I could, try to help them out as much as I could, be a fifth coach per se. And I think we had 3 or 4 coaches, so be a fifth coach per se. But like I said, at that time, the coaching staff, front office for the Go-Go, even a group of guys you had, it was, I look at it as a blessing to be able to be in that moment with those guys. I would play with that team any day of the week, anywhere on earth. I love them. I love those young guys. And some of those guys are signing standard contracts now, and I'm super happy for them. But it was definitely a time where I realized that I could coach, being able to help them further their games, being able to be in that role as a veteran. It definitely kind of segued me into coaching.
With the second pick in the 2008 NBA draft, the Miami Heat select Michael Beasley from Kansas State University.
Downhill, elevates, lays it up. Like right here, then attack. That's what Michael was telling me. That's good defense that time by Chris Johnson. On fakes, lets it fly. About the defensive side. For the gain! Oh!
When did you decide you wanted to play in the Big Three?
It took me a while. I said no first.
To me. You wouldn't return my phone call.
Well, the first person reached out to me.
TJ?
Nah. Was it? No.
He had your number, by the way.
I mean, we were teammates. But the first person, actually, me and teammate, that's why I say it was T. Scott. Because it was while we were at the G League showcase.
Oh, yeah.
He was there. He saw me. He stopped me. We talked for a quick second. He explained the Big Three and everything that was going on. And at that moment, I just told him that I wasn't ready. I was still trying to, pursue my career and stuff like that. I wanted to focus on still playing, 5-on-5 at the time. But then after about another year or so, I think when I was really done playing, he reached back out, got on the phone cube, and, here my 3rd year now.
I remember TJ saying to me, TJ acts as my general manager, unpaid, of course. And he says to me, we got to get Greg.
Paid, so.
Yeah, that's true. That's called inheritance. But he kept saying, we got to get Greg Monroe. We got to get Greg Monroe. He would complete this team of Glenn, him, you as the base of what we were trying to do. High intellect, great passing, and everything. We would like to work through you. And this year more than ever, Powers, everything has to run through you. And the respect for your defense, even like when I'm talking to you, I'm saying, hey, this is what we'd like to do. What do you think? Have coaches done that to you before?
At a certain point, maybe not a lot. I mean, it's a little bit more definite with the defense when you're playing, professionally in college and stuff. So it's different. But this has been fun. Obviously, this is my first year I was on a different team. But coming here, I think it was a great fit. It's been fun. People don't realize I've only lost 1 game in that jersey.
In the 15 jersey or the 10?
Power jersey.
In a power.
People don't realize that.
I like
It
this.
was a playoff game, unfortunately.
Yeah, this has gone taken a great turn.
A couple games we lost, I wasn't there.
I know. Well, let me tell you, you had to go to Summer League, and then you had to go on a scouting trip or something. And I had 3 players.
Yeah.
I wasn't really happy with you and Paul Millsap because he was hurt and you were vacationing, I think. No, you're not. You had to go for the Pelicans. That was your job. And I had Glenn, TJ, and John Millsap. Those guys earned so much of my respect. We won 2 of the 3 games when you guys were gone. And it just shows what you can do when you have confidence and you're ready. So that was pretty cool for us. I want to go back. Tell me about your family. Tell me about, mom or, growing up in New Orleans, and then take me to where you are today with your kids.
Okay. So I grew up on West Bank, New Orleans, right across the river. Born and raised there. My parents divorced when I was 5, but I still spent time with my father. Still with him. But I mean, just grew up with a great family. One of those big families that does everything together. And the thing that I tell people is, one thing I remembered is my mom, my uncles, aunts, their spouses, everybody worked. Everybody woke up and they went to work. And so that was the one thing that, as far as my work ethic, that's the part of why I believe my work ethic was pretty good. It's because I'm not afraid to work, I'm not ashamed to work, because my family did it. So that set an example for me. But then I just love basketball. As soon as the first day I went to the park, actually, like my father actually tried to teach me. I loved it. I mean, wake up 7 in the morning on a Saturday, go in the driveway and just start dribbling and shooting on the goal.
How old were
At
you?
his house. At our house, shout out to my neighbor, Herm, Mr. Herm. I was fortunate enough to have to go at my mom's house, but he had one right next door. And I remember I would be peeking out the window, hoping that the cars were going, so I could go out there and shoot and dribble. And over time, Mr. Herman, he noticed and he told me, he's like, man, anytime we're not in the driveway, you're more than welcome to come and shoot. And so that was, for a basketball player, that's a great life. You get a free goal that's right there. And so I just try to take advantage of it as much as I can, just out there by myself, just dribbling, shooting. And that's kind of just where my love grew. Just started playing organized sports, playing basketball at the park across the street. And then I'll stop it. Another thing that I'll also say is, even from childhood, from youth sports, I was blessed to have really good coaches. I feel like I had people that really cared about the kids at that age. And as I moved older, they really cared about, the teams that I was on and the players. And they were trying to influence in the right way, not just for that sport, but just building discipline and good characteristics for young men. So I was also blessed in that regard too as well.
I had to go do some homework here. I went to my friend AI that I just found out exists. Derrick Rose, Bees, OJ Mayo, Russell Westbrook, Kevin Love, Gallinari, Eric Gordon, Joe Alexander, who played for me, DJ Augustine, Brooke Lopez. That's some pretty heady basketball players.
DeAndre Jones in that draft.
Yeah, and you're in this class. What was the expectation like for you with people? Because you get drafted by the Heat. And a lot of these draft picks, they go to their team and they're building their team around them. Pat Riley's different, right? He had Dwayne Wade that had the team. What was that like?
It was rough, especially because I didn't understand it. So the Heat wasn't supposed to have that pick. They had Dwayne Wade win the chip. Then the next year they went second round, I think. But then he got hurt and they won 15 games the year before. That's how they fell into the lottery. And because I fell into the D Wade show, which D Rose didn't have no vets. No max vets there. OJ Mayo didn't. Westbrook had Kevin Durant, so but KD was only in the second year, so
Right, he was still a babe.
Yeah. So everybody in my draft class, just had time to develop, time to like add the training wheels, let them fall off, and just learn how to ride the bike. And I jumped in to Harley Davidson V12. And, yeah, you better know how to ride it right now. I just couldn't do it.
I mean, so how do you handle with a situation like that? So
How did I handle it
because
at 19?
the Heat don't rebuild. They
Mm.
right? They don't put training wheels on anybody.
No, I mean they do when they don't have a Dewey.
Did you talk to Pat?
No, but I don't need to. Like I understand.
Back then, you didn't talk to him and say,
Oh no, back then I talked to him, yeah, but I didn't understand. I was 19. I think people don't understand how young 19 is. Even if a 19-year-old understands what you're saying, he doesn't comprehend how it feels, right? Never been 21. I can tell you not to drink, but until you drink and get drunk the first time, you don't know why I'm telling you not to drink. You know, that first hangover sucks, right? And at 19, I just couldn't understand why I wasn't playing. I just couldn't understand. I just didn't understand it. I didn't understand a bigger picture, especially now that it's, I guess the bigger picture was getting LeBron in, right?
right?
But at 19, I talk to him every week, and I just remember just having clouded ears, steam, just not being able to hear anything they're saying. Because
Did you have somebody around you who
No.
could filter what was happening to you? So you were having to process by yourself at 19 years old.
money, I had money.
Money can't solve every problem.
No, but
just
it does for everybody else.
It hides it, yes, for everybody else. So the structure with the Heat was an issue.
No, it wasn't an issue.
It wasn't.
I live by Riley's way. I live by the Heat culture. It wasn't an issue. I was just 19 and didn't understand it. The issue was me not being able to grasp the Harley Davidson fast enough, and them not being able to slow it down enough for me to, right? They that's it. D-Wade wanted another chip now. And I like once you get that feeling, once you taste that, I get why. Like nobody's in the way. At the time I didn't understand.
But okay, so you get traded to Minnesota, and now you're playing with Kevin Love, and that team is built around Kevin Love, right? So you got another one. Was that correct? How did you fit into Minnesota then?
My first year I fit in well.
How so?
Ran a triangle and I was the 3.
So if I can use my basketball brain, I bet Pat saw you as a Carlos Boozer or like a Karl Malone, back to the basket kind of guy.
I used to watch
And you're a face-up 6'10" guy. You had a different skill set that didn't match maybe what he wanted. Could that be right?
Yeah, like coming into the league, it was D. Will and Booz, Steve Nash and Amari. That was like the thing of being and D. Wade had just lost shot. So, and no disrespect to Udonis Haslam, but he's not a 20-point scorer. So they wanted me to be like Carlos Boozer, which
You're not.
I would have loved to be like Carlos Boozer. That guy's strong as shit. But
right. But he would have loved your shot.
I hope so. But I just don't play like them. I'm more face to the basket. My shoulders are not that broad. I just never been that wide of a guy, that big of a guy.
So then what happened in Minnesota? Because
Minnesota, honestly, my first year, I just couldn't sit down. I played through so many injuries my first year. I was averaging like 26 my first year, and then I twisted my ankle 3 games in a row. And then I just left at 19. My second year, my second year, Rick Adelman, at the end of the year, my whatever the meeting is, I don't know what the fucking meeting called anymore. He looked at me and said, "I didn't mean to forget about you." I was in my contract year, but like that, my second year in Minnesota was just so bad. It was just so bad for no reason. For no reason, but I got through it, and with the Phoenix after that, which was a shit show too.
When you got to the NBA, was there, what big did you have a rivalry with? Or you would look at the schedule and say, man, I'm going at it?
I mean, a lot of people. I mean, you get to that level, you just want to compete against the best. Naturally, in my draft, you have guys like DeMarcus Cousins, Derek Favors, who played the first couple of weeks here. It's just, obviously, you always get kind of linked with the guys in your draft class. But outside of that, I don't, there wasn't really any rivalries per se.
It has to be fun to know you're playing against on a nightly basis. You kids in your class, but also people that you probably saw growing up.
Yeah, for sure.
Who did you emulate?
So growing up, I mean, obviously at that time, people at my position, when I'm growing up, you have Kevin Garnett, Tim Dawkins. So those are the main people that, obviously were like the superstars. One person that I love to watch, and we have, just because we're left-handed and stuff, and, we played a lot more similar back when I was moving around younger. But Lamar Odom was somebody that I really loved to watch play. Really try to emulate. Feel like he was versatile. He could put it on the floor, great passer, could score from all different parts of the floor. So he was one person that I definitely watched a lot. But Tim Duncan and Kevin Garnett were just, those were the two guys who just wanted to emulate. Everybody wanted to be those guys if you were a big man.
Did you want to use the backboard because of Timmy?
Uh,
Did you learn anything from the big fundamental?
Yeah, I actually make my guys now shoot backboard shots when we like working out and stuff. I tell them to pay homage to Timmy every day. So
I love that.
Yeah, so that's something that I didn't master it like him. I didn't elect to shoot it like him consistently. I could, but that was something that he did well. I mean, for me, the one thing that even Kevin Garnett too, is that those guys were just fundamentally sound. I don't think, people realize like how just they killed you with simple fundamental skills.
And footwork.
But that's
huge
fundamentals.
For big, right.
That's fundamentals for a big in my eyes.
Yeah, but that's when I see you on the court. I think I see you as very fundamental. You come into practice, you have a professional routine of what you're looking for. And like if I'm passing you the ball, you're like, I want to go here, I want to go here. So for me to see you with that professional routine, and you're not old, and you very well could be the MVP the way you're playing in the big three for both offense and defense and moving the ball with your skill set. It's very difficult for people to guard you, whether they're big or whether they switch on you. And you don't talk a lot to people, do you? You don't like talk smack, do you? I felt like I needed to all the time. I was a street kid.
Yeah, to me, I feel like that's the worst. When somebody's they just whooping you and you can't do anything. They're not even talking. This is like clockwork for them. Like that's how I want people to feel. Like you're just a person in a way. It's not even about you. It's about me. That's just how I chose to play the game.
You're the last person, if I'm right, to wear number 10 for the Pistons, and they retired Rodman's number. How'd you sneak that in? How'd you get that?
It's actually so when they were doing their announcing and stuff, he actually came in, and so I forgot who it was in the organization, because I think they had already mentioned it to him about me, like that they want me to keep like did he care if I kept the number or not? I was prepared to change it. I totally understand that. I mean, Dennis Rodman is a Hall of Famer, great player, so I totally got it. So I just went up to him, and I was just like, they had, like I said, they already spoke to me about it, so I was just like, hey, I appreciate you letting me keep the number. And he was like, oh man, you good, man. I don't care about that shit. I don't care about that shit. And so it's like, you know, at that moment I was like, okay, well, damn, thank you. But I mean, at the same time, I looked at it as an honor for him to say that, because he could have easily said the opposite, and I would have respected that as well. I just had to figure out what number I wanted to wear. I mean, like, you know, when you're that great and you accomplish things like that, certain people accomplish. You know, you have that. You know, the team feels they pay their respect to you by retiring your jersey. And at any moment, you know, I had to change. That's why I had to change my number when I got to Milwaukee, because the team was already retired. So it's like I said, I get it. Now, one thing with Tim Hardaway Sr., that's my guy, coaching me at Detroit. I would let my son wear my number though. Like, I don't know if y'all did you see that?
Yeah, he
Like,
will let him wear
that
it.
would be the one stipulation I would have. Like, I would be like him, like, no, it's in the Raptors. But if my son came and asked, like, hey, Dad, like, can you let me wear this? I would be like, absolutely.
Tammy.
I know him. He's good. That's my guy. I love Tim Hardaway. But I'm just saying, I would let my son wear it. Man.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Do you think people forget that we, the athlete, are human beings?
Mm-hmm.
And they take it for granted because they see you on TV. They see the contracts.
Yeah,
they
so
see.
I'll give you an example, right? If you're having a conversation with just whoever, serious conversation, it's rude to stop the conversation, right? You're talking about the certain, like, business, talking about, you know, I don't know, finance, I don't know what people talk about, but if somebody come up and stop that conversation, it's very rude.
Yes.
Unless you're an athlete.
Well
Right.
said. Well said.
Right. For some reason, people see us as zoo animals. So I can't have a sad day. I remember I got the news about my mom having, right, hung up the phone, and right before the tear dropped, I had to pick it up because can I get a picture? Right. And then if you do say what you're going through and it doesn't add up or it's not conducive with said picture, then you're an asshole, and then you don't get no sponsorship money. You know, yes, 100%. I think people treat athletes so bad, and it's because we got money. It's because the clothes we wear cost a lot of money. It's because, right? And then people just look at us with their perspective and just.
I look at so much of your career. Let's face it, your game is NBA level game. We know this. That's not in doubt. Never was in doubt. Obviously, coaches are going to coach their way. They're going to bring players in with personnel. But, like, again, I'm going to go back to mental health because it keeps coming. It keeps coming. It keeps coming. And it's like they chop away like a tree. And at some point, you have to express yourself, or you have to go into a shell and stay away from these people. So my question is to you, and I don't know, like, is that when you started, like, maybe smoking weed or trying to self-medicate? What is that possibly what happened?
I haven't heard the word mental health until I got to the NBA.
Really?
Where I'm from is just having a fucked up day. Where I'm from, it's just, all right, cool, you down, let's go, right? Mental health. Like, and that's the problem. Every time I play basketball good, I can't play basketball good. It's just, but his mental health. I can't have 30 points and just have 30 points. I can't have 0 points and just have 0 points. Whenever I do anything or whenever I don't, it's mental health. Wow. I just close my mouth and I get through whatever you guys don't even know I'm going through. That's the part of I can't stand, because walk around and I see everybody stare at me, wondering what I'm going to say next or how I'm going to do it next, and think I don't notice it. Like, mental health is like what you guys think of me. Nobody asks what I think or how I'm, right? So no, I still don't believe the mental health narrative. I just can't escape it. I just never been able to have a good game in the NBA or at Rucker Park or the Big Three without saying, yeah, but his mental health issues. What mental health issues? The ones that I just wanted to play. We will all be upset if you weren't playing. We're players, right? Okay, the mental health issues. The best player in fucking college basketball goes and just play fucking half the game. Not only averaged 14 points and average half, right? And mental. It's like, all right, bro, just fuck the mental. Like, bro, like if you look at my per 36, my per 36 line up to guys that's getting 200-300 million in their career. But every time I was, Jeff Schwartz looked at me when I was signing with Phoenix. He made me sign a 3-year, 18 million when Sacramento, Bobby Mays called me and told me Keith Smarty had 5-year, 85 million on the table for me. I told Jeff Schwartz that to his face. He said, nah, that's a lie. So I signed that bullshit deal in Phoenix, right? Fast forward, because we all know that's bullshit. I go to fucking New York and I play my way out of this bullshit, right? Finally have a good season. Jeff Schwartz look at me and say, teams don't know what you're gonna do with money. The fuck, right? So it's like mental health issues. It's like you guys need to check yourself because I'm tired of being a spectacle.
When did you get the name Moose? Who gave that to you?
In high school. It started off as a joke, honestly. When I was super young, he was one of my friends I grew up with. We were like 6 or 7 little kids. He would be messing around with, he'd be like, shut up, you big moose. Something like that. It was a random day in high school, though. This girl was doodling on the board. Somebody I went to church with, went to the same high school. And she was doodling on the board. And I was just walking in the hallway, peeked in, saw her, said, what's up, what you doing? She was drawing on the board. She was like, what's your nickname? And I don't know, right at that moment, I don't know, it was random. I was in high school. I was a teenager, who knows? I was just like, Big Moose. So she was like, all right. She just started doodling. Greg, AKA Big Moose. The teacher left it on the board for the whole semester. It was like one of them things where it was a big whiteboard, but she did a lot of the lessons on the projectors, so she would just pull the screen down, so she never had to erase it. And so it just caught, like the whole school would come in. They made us jerseys for the playoff run my senior year. I took that jersey to Georgetown with me and hung it in my dorm room, But, my teammates started calling me that. JT3 calls me that at the press conference one day by mistake. And then after that, it just took off. He was like, yeah, Moose. He was just talking. And the reporter was like, I'm sorry, who's Moose? He was like, oh. He said, that's Greg Monroe. And so it just carried. I got to the NBA. The reason why I got to the NBA, DeJuan Summers, my college teammate, ended up playing together in Detroit. He was saying that I'd have it, Moose. John Custer walked up to me one day. Hey, is it okay if we call you Moose? I'm like, yeah, that's my nickname, coach. And then after that, he says it in the interview. Same thing he says in the interview. Reporter's like, who's Moose, coach? Talking about me. So then once the NBA, once the media gets a hold of it, shout out to Mason and the in-call announcer for the Pistons. Awesome at his job, one of the best to do it. He just started calling me Moose. And the rest is history. Have you ever been to a Pistons game? Mason is one of the
Mason's.
best.
Well, I coached there, so Mason was getting his cutting his teeth on. He was amazing.
Still in the arena, that's just good.
No, he changes the whole dynamics. But so I go around the NBA. I see coaches. I see players. They'll say, "Who's on your team?" A year ago, I said, "Well, Paul Millsap, Moose, Glenn Rice Jr." And they go, "Monroe's on the team." I couldn't believe coaches were.
Nobody.
I saw Andre Drummond last year, And I'm talking and I'm like, yeah, Moose is on my team and blah, blah, blah. And one of the coaches walked by and goes, who's Moose? And they go, Greg Monroe. And he goes, oh my gosh, you have Moose? It's like,
Yeah, so it's just
it's kind of cool.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, Mason probably had a lot to do with it. People hearing it, every time, I was scoring the arena and stuff. So people just, it's fun at school. I like it. It's a cool nickname. It's easy too.
So Moose, what do you tell your kiddos about school and being disciplined, and what people taught you and your family
We're
taught
still
you?
young right now. So it's that we haven't gotten there yet. Happy birthday to my daughter today, by the way. It's her
Happy
second birthday.
birthday.
Happy birthday, baby girl. Love you, Camden. But they're young. They're still just they're toddlers. So they're just learning how to be them right now. We'll get there, I will, but I mean, obviously, education, discipline, humility, humbleness. Those are kind of the main things that my family kind of built and instilled in all of us. Me, my sister, my cousins. Just lead with respect.
Yeah.
But respect won't be tolerated. And so that's kind of like how we were brought up. I'm better than no person, and I will treat you with that respect, but I won't let you disrespect me. And so that's kind of just, how I've lived. And that's something I want to teach to them. I'm blessed to accomplish some things in my life. Work truly hard, and so that would be the main thing I would tell them. You work at it, you can accomplish anything. I know that's simple, cliche, but I feel like I'm living proof. You're probably living proof as well. So that would probably be the main thing I want them to know.
Well, in closing, I personally would like to say thank you. Thank you for being in my life and making me better, and in seeing how you are on the daily basis, the consistency. So thank you for sitting down. You're the epitome of the long game. It's life in totality. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're the best.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you.
This is The Long Game, where we celebrate the challenge, we praise the perseverance, and we highlight the how, where time is respected and the journey is the thing. There is no such thing as an overnight success. If it's worth working for, it's worth waiting for.